So I want to talk today about PlayStation, the PS5, and the exclusives that we're going to be getting and possibly getting for 2021 and beyond. I wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been kind of on my brain when it comes to PlayStation and their exclusives for the PS5 coming out like this year, where we have games like God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Horizon. We have all of these titles that are coming out, and I really want to talk to all of you about, does PlayStation 5 have an exclusive issue? Here's what I mean. When we've looked at generations past, specifically with Sony, we have seen that they have a generation of a PS2, PS3, PS4, and we've seen minor instances where a game will go from one console and move over to the next generation. I experienced this most notably with Last of Us coming from a PS3 title, and it migrated and it received some updates to get it on the PS4. But what I'm really looking at is the next crop and the new generation of titles that are needing to go, that are not necessarily exclusive to the PS5. I'm wondering if we are actually going to get a large amount, or is it going to take several years in the lifespan of the console to be able to reach that point? Ratchet and Clank is going to be coming out as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, and I am super psyched to be able to play that because it tells me that it is optimized specifically for the PS5 and they don't have to do any work to get it to work with backwards compatibility and make a PS4 version. The new Horizon game, as well as God of War, they look like they are going to need to work both on PS4 and PS5. And it's not to say that we're not going to get amazing experiences on the PS5, but what I'm arguing is that it's going to probably take away from that purest experience that you could have with a title like God of War, exclusive only on PS5. It begs a question for a lot of people, I think, of needing to rush out and grab a PlayStation 5. Why do I need to go out there and rush to get that console if I'm going to be able to get the exact same game and the same experience, minus maybe some fidelity performance updates, but I'm getting the same title on my PlayStation 4. We couple that with the scarcity of the actual consoles themselves, where the minute that they're posted on a Best Buy website or Target, they're sold out. So we don't have enough inventory coming out for the PS5 for mass audiences to be able to get their hands on this console. And I wonder if that actually plays into why these next gen titles are being considered almost backwards compatible with last gen, and they're not made exclusively for PS5. For me, it doesn't necessarily hinder me. I have a PS5, I love it, I enjoy it, but I am worried that it takes away that kind of special feeling of having, that next gen exclusive only, this is made for this console specifically, that type of experience. Going from a PS4 to PS5 for certain titles like Spider-Man, it can work because we are seeing, graphical enhancements, and going up the ladder can work where we're getting patches and updates to make, an Ultimate Edition Spider-Man get those ray tracing updates and so on in 60 frames per second. So it becomes more optimized, but it's still not built from the ground up for this one system. And this is something that we haven't seen in Sony consoles in previous generations. We haven't experienced this where you're getting a lot of cross-platforming, cross-title platforming, and cross-console pollination where they're actually going to be working on both ends. And I get it, because we have the PlayStation audience, the PS4 audience that is millions of users wide, and the PS5 audience is very small right now, simply due to them not having enough of the consoles to be able to get out to the mass market. And if you're Sony and if you're the developers, I get it. You want to be able to have your title on the most amount of consoles and get the biggest amount of eyeballs on your game as possible. But for those that are making the large investment of going to a PlayStation 5, why do we need to rush out to get it if we're going to be able to get it on the previous console that we already own? So I really just want to be able to talk to all of you. Really, do you think that PlayStation does have an exclusive issue? Ratchet and Clank, like I said, is the one title that I've seen coming out for the new generation that is going to be considered a AAA title. Now, I know that there are exclusives that are coming to PlayStation and that have come to PlayStation that are smaller titles, and that's great. but specifically looking at the AAA landscape, those top tier titles. What if we get another Uncharted, or we get the next version of Last of Us? Is that going to be a PS5 exclusive, do you think? Or will they also go and say, we got to make this available for the PS4? And by doing so, don't you think that it could hurt potential growth or final polish that you get on that system and on that game? Because it's not going to be fully 100% optimized for that next generation console. Instead, it's having to make compromises along the way so that it can work for the previous generation. And this is where I find it very interesting for this console generation, that we are seeing it where it is not this clear-cut, dry switch over from a PlayStation 4 to PS5, and you just go into your GameStop and you just shovel off your old system and all of your titles and you get your $300 for your whole collection and you just immediately start fresh. We're in an interesting landscape now, I find, where the way we are gaming and the way that we are having accessibility and options for these titles is changing, it's adapting, and I think developers, console manufacturers are learning this as well as we go. I'm sure that down the road in 5 years, when we are with our PS5s and we've had them for a long time, there's a PS5 Pro version that will come out probably, we will see these pure exclusive titles because more and more gamers have been able to get their hands on the console at mass, like they did with the PlayStation 4 audience. But I wonder if this trend will continue, where you are seeing PS5 as an upgraded version, but we're not going to get those AAA full exclusives at mass like we would have in previous years. But what does everybody think? What do you think about PlayStation, and do they have a exclusive issue out for the AAA titles that are out there or that are coming down the pipe this year and into next? Or do you feel like it doesn't matter because, you know, other gamers on PS4 are going to be able to get their hands on the title, and that's awesome? Personally, I think that it's great that anybody and everybody can experience the game, and they could eventually get a PS5 when they get their hands on it and enjoy those graphical updates. But do you think that long term that this will have any effect on players feeling like they've been cheated at all, that they haven't received this pure next gen experience? Let me know in the comments below. What do you all think? By the way, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the show, subscribing to the channel. We are working towards our first 1,000 subscribers, and I have every single one of you to thank, so thank you very much. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'm Matt here on Assemble, and as always, thank you guys for assembling with us. See ya.